I'd like to take just 5 minutes to talk with you about building expansion. Before COVID-19 broke out, we had begun talking about expanding our facility, believing that this is the time for us to move forward with something that's been in the heart of Gateway as a church body for decades, literally for decades. We believe that this is God's time. And while we've been broken away from gathering because of COVID-19, our architect has been at work developing the renderings and the draftings of what our facility will look like. He's coupled together with our contractor and some others in order to come up with some beautiful renditions of what the building will look like in expansion. I'm going to share some of those with you today, this morning here. But before I do, I want to say this. This is very important, that everything that we do as a church, it's imperative that it tie into and be connected to our mission. In other words, what are we called to do as a church? Who are we called to be as a local expression of the body of Christ? And our mission as Gateway Christian Fellowship is this. Our mission is to see our community transformed by the love of Jesus. We love our community. We have a beautiful community. We have a beautiful city of Shelton. And we know that without God, we're just another city. We're just the rest of the world, right? Without God, we are hopeless and we are lost. But with the love of Christ shed abroad in hearts, His love changes everything. We want to see our community transformed by sharing the light of Jesus with others. So everything about expansion needs to relate to that mission. I'm going to talk about how it relates to our mission here in a moment. First, let me show you some of these beautiful pictures that the architect has developed for us. Here's the first one. This is a view from the corner of entering the parking lot off of 7th Street. As you first drive into our parking lot, you look up at the building. This is what the expansion portion will look like. You can see it's multi-level. There's 2 stories here, and there's a total of 3,317 square feet on each floor. That's a total of 6,634 square feet in the expansion portion of the building, which increases our usable space by a full 53%. Now, if you were on 7th Street, just looking straight on at the building, this is what it would look like. He's done a marvelous job of making this look so beautiful. And now I'm gonna click over to the top level floor plan. This will consist of a large commercial kitchen. You know, we like to eat, and that's a good thing because everybody needs to eat, right? Well, we also like to serve food through Celebrate Recovery. Our child care center serves meals, multiple meals a day, 5 days a week. And we've been doing it through a tiny kitchen. This will expand the size of our kitchen, give us a commercial size kitchen and a dining, fellowship, overflow area, which is large with a movable wall. We'll also have the opportunity to place cafe seating up here in this top level floor plan. You go downstairs to the bottom level floor plan, and you can see there's multiple classrooms. One of these will serve in its functionality as a dedicated youth and young adult room. The youth in our church have not had a dedicated space of their own as long as I have been a part of the church, and so this will carve space out for youth to decorate it in their fashion along with the young adults, and other groups may use the room, but it will have a stamp of that generation upon it. And then there's also some other classrooms down here that will be used for childcare and children's ministry purposes, but also for gathering purposes for small group breakouts, etc. And you can see there's an office down there. So both of these floors really serve multiple generations, and the entire expansion serves the entire church body and our community. Now, how will expansion help to further our mission as a church body? That is the key question that I want to start to answer today with you. Number one is this: know that we are currently space constrained. We have tapped out our space to the maximum and we use it multiple days and evenings a week. And so that's a good thing. But expansion will therefore create functional, needed space for several different purposes. I'm just going to run through 9 different items here. Number 1, for gathering and connecting as a body. We like to gather together in multiple functions and for different purposes. It will create functional, needed space for sharing meals together. Celebrate Recovery serves meals every Friday. Right now we serve meals in our sanctuary when we do. We eat together in our sanctuary for fellowship gatherings. This will create a dedicated space for that purpose. It will create needed space for welcoming new people. Newcomers gatherings, which are an important thing to connect with people. It will provide essential overflow space during corporate services. Maybe you've been in one of our services when most of the seating is taken up, it begins to feel tight and cramped. Well, say for instance, you come with your family on a given Sunday and maybe the kids didn't sleep well and I've been here before. It's a little bit more difficult to engage in worship and your kids just want to kind of lay on the chairs or underneath the chairs, and maybe on a given Sunday you come and you say, you know what, I could really use a little extra breathing room, and you take your family into that overflow space and there's CCTVs hooked up that tune you into the service, but there's just a little bit more freedom to not feel like maybe the children are being disruptive, or maybe it's you who's disruptive, right? And so that will provide some needed overflow space as a church body, which we will really appreciate. It will provide space for learning and growing together, all ages, all generations, in the classroom breakout spaces. And then also for expanding our children's and childcare ministries. We'll be able to accommodate more children in our childcare center, which has been maxed out or close to maxed out here for the last few years, which is fantastic. There's a great need in our community for childcare. And then it will allow us as well to establish dedicated space for our youth ministry, which I've already talked to briefly. It will provide space for hosting community events and activities. In fact, you may not know this, or you may know this, but before COVID-19 broke out, there was a parenting class, a community-based parenting class that was going to utilize a portion of our sanctuary each Friday. And so that had to be postponed or put on hold. But we do get requests to use our facility, and in other cases, we invite our facility to be used for certain appropriate community functions. We want to be a blessing to our community. And then finally, it will allow for further expansion into other areas of outreach. And so I'm going to pull up one last picture. This is a beautiful one. It's an aerial view of what the expansion will look like. And everything in color on this building diagram here will be the expansion. Everything that's colored white is what's existing already. And so, as I said, architect did a fantastic job, something to be looking forward to, be praying about. And here's the good news: God has His hand on us as a church body. I fully believe and sense that God is with us. He's going to lead us through this. We understand that there is it's a unique economic and financial time for us as a nation, but we truly believe that God is with us, and where God has a will, He has a way. And He's going to help us to unify and team together to see this happen. We're going to be a blessing to our community and continue to shine the light of Jesus in our community through all of this.